Hello and welcome to the Angerati studio at African Utility Week. I'm now joined by Bas Verhoeven, who is also from DNV Kema. I say also because we had an earlier interview with your colleague Vessel. And Bas, firstly, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. And when we were talking to your colleague, we were talking a bit about the sort of challenges of the type of infrastructure that needs to be put in, integration of renewables, and even maybe getting more out of an existing grid. And in that interview and others we've done on Angerati, there's always this sentiment coming through that you need to look at sort of total cost of ownership rather than just the initial investment, because you could make decisions here, especially in terms of price and components, that could actually mean a higher TCO thing. And in your role, you're looking at sort of testing and certification and things like that. What are some of the stories that you see that can sort of support and give people a warning about what to look out for?
Yeah, it is so that if you run big projects like my colleague described previously, you design a power network, you make an extension, you have to fit it into a power network that is already existing. And in the end, of course, you want to have that project successful for many, many years, 2, 3 decades or even 4 decades. It has to run perfectly. So it is important that all the components that you are using and the combination of the components together can cope up with that long 40 years of running. So it's important to look at the, let's say, the quality, the basic quality of the components that you start using in the early beginning. Meaning that you have to use components that are of world-class standard, comply to the international standards that are applicable and available in the world. What you often see happening is that in big projects, of course, money is always scarce, so you have to look for the maximum output and a good balance between what you buy and what will be the performance over the 40 years up to come. And there sometimes we feel there is some kind of pressure, a price pressure that is looking into, well, let's buy this component and put it in and we'll see how it will work. But then forgetting maybe an important aspect of using certified components that have proven to be able to withstand the 40 years of running in the network. And what you then see that you could buy lower grade components. Initially look fine, but in the end they will cause you a lot of headaches with failures, outages and so forth. And those costs are by far exceeding the cost for type testing.
And what sort of, I mean, if we were to talk hypothetically, I mean, what sort of costs do you see that the people are, in terms of percentages maybe, the risk of taking lower grade components? Because you must have worked on projects where you've done some sort of maths and said, well, actually, you guys saved yourself, or you thought you saved yourself 10% of the initial cost, but in reality, over the length of time, you keep fixing all this stuff, you're spending 40% more, or these are just numbers I'm plucking out. Do you have any numbers like that?
Well, yes. I think the cost of an outages, if you have a big power substation or a wind farm not connected to the grid for several days, you lose a lot of revenues, electrical revenues. Outages inside cities cause a lot of social and other financial disturbances. You have seen the blackouts in the countries lately in New York. There was a big blackout a few years ago, causing a lot of trouble. So the costs for that are huge. So not only financially, but also socially. Compare that to the cost, let's say, for using certified and well-documented components is just a fraction of that. So the investment you put in the beginning of a project is just a very small, minor investment that will allow you to make sure that you won't run into much trouble in the future.
What's the obvious question that you then ask is, okay, why are people not taking certified components? Is there an issue with I know interview with KG Technologies, they were saying, well, okay, there is a standard, but you can interpret it 5 different ways. So someone can say, yes, I am certified, but I'm certified by looking at it from this angle, not from that angle. Is that the issue, or because
it's the partial? It is an issue about just initial money. How big is the investment, purchasing components? But I also think there is some kind of lack of knowledge in what testing and certification exactly is and where to look for. Although there are international IEC standards, if you don't know them well, you can really misinterpret the standards because they're quite complex documents. And if you don't know exactly what's in there and what should be done or not should be done, you can easily be mistaken by let's say, the market mechanisms. Manufacturers not always want to go for type testing and certification. It's for them a hazard, and they feel it as a cost. While actually they should look at it as a proof that they are producing top-grade components.
So from a procurement perspective, I find it surprising, but then I'm not building a grid, so what do I know? But I find it surprising that from a procurement perspective, there wouldn't be a sort of default requirement that, okay, we will only buy this, or are the price pressures so high that people are actually saying, look, I'll take the risk? You know, because it seems like a no-brainer.
I certainly would hope that let's say the procurement at utilities really take into account that certification of the components you use is part of the specifications. It has to be written down there that the components need to be tested in an independent laboratory, not of country of origin. That's a very simple sentence, but that should be in any specification when you are purchasing components.
Well,
that simple sentence will give you a lot of quality, maybe a little bit price increase in the beginning, but the investment of that is so economically worthwhile to do. And I think it's good that utilities will look much more into detail into that with the purchasing departments, and also getting more knowledge in their company about what certification is and what the benefits are.
So there is a need to push skills and knowledge into procurement and purchasing that says, okay, look, here is what you need to do, and here is why you need to insist that independent certification is taking place. Whoever's doing it, but
yeah.
You know, because and how is that message coming across? I mean, what can we as an industry do to really make that message resonate and come out there? What do you think needs to be done?
I think, and what we are doing as DNV Kema is giving a lot of information to the market about the need for this, for testing and certification. We're organizing seminars. I've spoken here at the exhibition yesterday. So to bring the message and also to balance out what is the investment versus the headaches otherwise you will receive in future. So we're putting a lot of efforts in this to make it a generic knowledge available to the people, to the utilities, but also to the manufacturers who also not always have that right knowledge of what standard to use or what interpretation should be done. So we're investing quite a lot of time and money in that to make sure.
So your presentation yesterday covered all of that, and you gave it here?
Yes, I gave it here. It was only 30 minutes, so it's very limited in time. But we have, let's say, a full package available with the full technical content, and that's a workshop of a full day, which we gave at utilities worldwide, and that's just to get that information over to the utilities and manufacturers.
So if you're watching this interview, chances are that Bas's 30-minute presentation is available on demand on Engerati. So go and have a look at that. You can search by speaker, so it should be relatively easy to find, unless you've told us we can't do it. But that's...
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Let's see. Otherwise, we do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I should have checked with that first. We're kind of coming to the end of our time, and I just wanted to ask you a quick question, a similar question I asked your colleague. You've nearly done 1.5 days here at African Utility Week, and what are some of the things that you're finding that give you sort of encouragement from your side of the world in terms of the certification and things like that?
Well, I think my general observations for this 1.5 day now is that I believe there's a good energy with the people everywhere from all over the countries and the continent to include renewables in their power networks. They talk about greater grid extensions to make an interconnected power system. They have concerns about quality, performance. I think that's good because that's really the topic I'm addressing. So I feel we're in a good shape, but we'll have to go a long way. But sure. I think the energy and the vision of the people is directing in the correct way.
The starting point is right.
Excellent.
Excellent. That's all we can ask for. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you as well for watching this interview. Many more on engerati.com, and as we said halfway through the interview, also presentations by all the great speakers we've got at these many events. And thank you for watching.